Buenas tardes. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors to our simultaneous interpretation line. Buenas tardes, mi gente. Estamos con ustedes hoy a las 2 p.m. Y si quieren acceso al programa en español, por favor marquen el número que aparece en la pantalla para acceso. El número es 646-749-3122. Cuando le contestan su llamada, por favor compartan el código que es 779-328-221. Esa información aparece en la pantalla, pero también van a tener acceso a esa información en los comentarios. I am so excited to be able to turn this forum to our youth program who is hosting today. They are going to bring me back to interview our older woman, Jocasta Samaripa, but they're taking it from here. And I'm so excited that Alexis and Jeanette, our organizer for the youth program, are moving forward.
Good afternoon. Happy voting day. I hope you all were able to get out on this rainy day and vote. Today we are going to share a message from Jonathan Zuniga, who is part of, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. He is for the Milwaukee Election Commission. I'm so sorry about that. We will share, he has some vital information that will help us or help you, and we will share that.
Yes, it depends where they're at because the storm is moving in. But we're going to move right into our next guest. The City of Milwaukee Election Commission is with us today, and Jonathan Zuniga is representing them. So we're going to bring Jonathan on.
Hi,
Hola,
everyone.
Jonathan.
Good, happy election day to everyone.
Igual. Jonathan, we want to accomplish two things in these visits with our guests. One is to provide inspiration and encouragement for our voters to come out. And two is to lift up maybe a piece of information we haven't quite covered in depth. I'm wondering if you could share about, your encouragement, but share about election rights today, what people should be mindful of to know that they have the rights to do today, and where they could report if something is going wrong or they need help. So why don't you share those two things with us today? And then if there's something else you think critical that we haven't covered, we can quickly do that.
Yeah. I think it's so important to vote, especially if you live on the South Side, right? I'm, born and raised on the South Side, and unfortunately, it has one of the lowest voting turnout in the whole city. And I don't say that to discourage us, but more to motivate us, right? Like the possibilities of us being able to vote. A lot of times we speak to folks and they're like, well, I can't vote, I'm not eligible, but your kids are, right? Your family members, your friends, your neighbors. And it's super important to get them out to vote, because as you all have been mentioning, there's a lot of things, a lot of local offices that have a direct impact in people's lives, in our communities, in our city, in our state. So we shouldn't let anyone else make a decision for us. We should be able to exercise our right to vote, because that is our right. And speaking about exercise your right to vote, as the Election Commission, that is our goal, that on election day, every eligible voter is able to exercise their right to vote within the law, of course. So if you are at the polls, if you're heading to the polls first, make sure you're going to the correct one. Depending on where you live, you have your designated polling place. So you can go to myvote.wi.gov and look for your polling site. That website is also in Spanish, so you can also search it that way. So look for your polling place, go to your designated polling place, and if you are already registered, then perfect. You just need to take your photo ID. Something really important about photo ID too is that you are already registered, so that address on the ID doesn't have to match the poll book. What happens a lot nowadays is that people update their address with the DMV online, and then they go to My Vote and update their voter registration on there. Perfectly fine. Then they go to the polling site, and then they are in the poll book with their correct new address, but their ID has their old address. That's okay. The poll workers should accept that. And we have stressed that out to all of our poll workers to make sure that they are accepting that. So if you have any questions about this or if you have any issues, call us at 414-286-3491. Again, 414-286-3491. We have folks in English and Spanish. They can help you out, and we have a language line to more than 100 languages if any folks want in a different language other than English or Spanish. So call us if you have any issues at the polls. We're expecting, thunderstorms maybe later today. So if you can, go and get out your vote right now instead of waiting until the end. But do know that if you are in line by 8 p.m., then you are able to vote. All right. Doesn't matter if there's a line and whatever. If you're there by 8 p.m., that is your right to cast your ballot. Another important reminder. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, go right ahead.
Okay. Another important reminder is that you can register to vote today. It's not too late. Today you can do it and vote today at your designated polling place, right? People move. You change your name, you get married, whatever the reason is to change your name or you moved from address, you can register to vote today and vote today. Okay, so Wisconsin has that right to all of the eligible voters. So just, again, make sure you go to your designated polling place to do all of that and get help with that. And if you are registering, then take something that's a proof of residence, which if you have your ID or driver's license with your current address, that counts. A We Energies bill, a cell phone bill, a bank statement. Even if you have it on your phone, that proof of residence, that counts as well. So if you forgot it and you're at the polls, you can just bring out your phone now. If you have your bank statement there or your lease, like a signed lease in your email or something, that also counts.
That was really helpful and something that helps clarify for people how much easier it is to do things at the polling place. Jonathan, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it and the information you shared, and have a great rest of your day.
You're welcome. Have a great one, everyone.
Adios. Folks, we've had a great lineup of our electeds today. To recap, we had County Exec Dave Crowley with us, President of the Common Council, Jose Perez. We had State Representative Sylvia Ortiz, and sorry that we had so many technical difficulties during that time because the storm was moving through, and we're doing a little better now. So we hope that that's going to keep going. And now I have the privilege of introducing Alderwoman Jocasta Samaripa, who is our first Latina serving in that position. And so we're going to bring her on and hope all things work well. She was saying Hola, Alderman Samaripa. Alderwoman Samaripa,
Hi.
can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you guys. It's a little bit broken up. I'm hoping you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can see you and we can hear you. And we've had some difficulty with the last broadcast too because of the storm, but so far so good. Alderwoman Samaripa was celebrating that you're our first Latina at the Common Council. And we're hoping today to accomplish two things with each of the guests. One is to do a rah-rah for people to get out the vote, because sometimes people get discouraged or it's hard to get to the polling place in the schedule. And then the other thing is, what at the Common Council or city level do you want folks to hear about?
Well, I want them to know that we're working hard at the city level. The city's in very dire straits, to be very transparent, and that we haven't been getting our fair share of shared revenue from the state. government for a very long time. But with this new Mayor Cavalier Johnson, with our new Common Council President, Jose Perez, the first Latino to ever serve in one of the highest roles in local government, I feel confident that we are going to finally bring home our fair share of shared revenue. And so I hope that people across the city are watching closely to make sure that our state legislature does the right thing for the city. And with that, I know you mentioned also you're trying to encourage people to vote.
Yes.
Happy Election Day. Today is Election Day. We have a very important state Supreme Court race. We have a special election on the South Side for county supervisor. We have a number of judicial positions. And so I hope that our people will head out. If they're ciudadanos, if they're citizens, I hope they're heading out to go and exercise their right to vote today.
Great. And let's help people understand the issue of shared revenue, because that's a new discussion that we're having with folks. Can you help us, especially because you had the experience of being a state representative? Can you help us help the folks understand why it's so important to make headway in that shared revenue?
So that we can offer the city services to the people. Shared revenue is really important. It's dollars that come from the state governor from the state government via the governor and the Wisconsin state legislature. Those dollars flow from state government to local governments across the great state of Wisconsin. So all of the municipalities, not just the city of Milwaukee, but across the board. And so it's really important that state government support their local governments, because that is really the local government is who is closest to the people, doing those basic quality of life services like picking up your trash, plowing the snow in the winter. These types of services are near and dear to the average Milwaukeean's heart, and that's why we're hoping that they'll follow this shared revenue debate very closely.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we let you go on to the rest of your busy day?
Just again, you heard it so well from Jonathan Zuniga from the City of Milwaukee Election Commission. Please go out and vote today. It's our responsibility, especially on the near South Side, where we know we're home to the largest Latino population in the great state of Wisconsin. We have a responsibility. If you're Latino and you're a citizen, you know that you have a responsibility to go and be a voice for our people that are not able to vote right now, whether it's because they're undocumented or perhaps because they're residents and they don't have their citizenship. Unfortunately, they also do not have the right to vote. So los que son ciudadanos necesitan que votar siempre. Those who are U.S. citizens have got to go every single time to vote, even in these spring elections that historically have lower voter turnout.
Great. Thank you for your time with us today, Alderwoman, and have a great day.
Thank you, Tammy.
Adios. All right, folks, I'm going to make a couple announcements, and I'm going to hand the program back to the youth program. We have two more broadcasts today, a 4 o'clock and a 6 o'clock, and we've been with you since 8 o'clock. The privilege of lifting up democracy and supporting your civic engagement. And you heard the guest list that we had earlier, and we'll be sharing some of those interviews with you. And right now, I'm going to hand it back to Jeanette, who's going to talk a little bit about SOC and then the door prizes that are available for your engagement today.
Hello. SOC is celebrating its 33rd birthday. Yay! So we do have our ambassador program. Right now it says 32 in you, but it's 33 in me. Black ambassador. They'll put that link in the comments for you if you're interested in becoming a Black ambassador for your community. That is one way to enter into the drawings. We also have a post-pandemic survey, which is we want to hear from you after being locked away for 2 years in a pandemic. We want to know what our neighbors' needs are. We would love to hear from you. It takes less than 5 minutes. That link is also in the comments. So please feel free to fill that out. That's another entry for a $50 gift card. We also have Facebook. If you share this Facebook, that's an entry. Follow us, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We also are on YouTube. If you would like to share the videos from YouTube, you can go to YouTube and see our previous 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock episodes. Those are on YouTube as well as Facebook. Those are all opportunities to be put into the raffle. If you are here, say hello. Hello, Pedro. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Hope TJ. Thank you for joining us. And next, I want to talk to a little bit about the youth programming that we have here at SOC. We are currently an Earn and Learn site for the summer again. So I am very excited about that. We will have some new youth joining us for the summer. If you know any youth that is interested in working in the community, please let us know. I am going to bring Alexis on with me, who is one of our youth organizers, and she has a little message.
Hi, my name is Alexis. I'm the youth organizer here at Southside Organizing Center. Are you between ages 14 and 24? Would you like to help the community? We work to make our neighborhood safe and livable for our environment. Please join us this summer. We are officially the Earn and Learn site. If you are interested, message us at sockmilwaukee.org. We hope to work with you.
Thank you, Alexis. If you are interested in the Earn and Learn program, you can email us at sock@sockmilwaukee.org or message us on Facebook. I will also put my email in the comments to reach out if you're interested. I can assist with the application process. And if you truly want to work with SOC, I do have a priority code as well. That is something new that Earn and Learn is doing. The program application is completely online, but if a youth needs assistance, a family needs assistance, I am always available to help you. So please feel free to call the office, email us, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Let me see if there's any more people in the comments. Okay, next we are going to have a quick video on My Vote, where we'll go through and show you how to find out where your polling location is with the myvote.wi.org
website that you can go for all of your voting needs, and it's 24 hours a day, so you get to have that at your fingertips. So let me walk you through that so that you can feel really comfortable using that, or at least familiarize yourself. So here it is, myvote.wisconsin.gov. This is the English version, but you can get it in other languages too. Here you can find your voter information. It'll tell you every election you voted in. It doesn't tell you what you voted, which candidates, or what you said on the referendums, but at least you can be reminded of which elections you voted in. You can find your polling place, which we're going to practice in a little bit, and what's on your ballot. Again, to Johnny's question, we're going to go ahead and take a look there. You can update your name and address. You can register to vote and get information about that. For the fall election, because now the time has passed us, but you can request to vote by absentee ballot. Just mail it in. Can't get any easier than that, folks. And I've used it in the past. It's really helpful. And then you can track where your ballot is to make sure that they received it. And then how you can vote absentee in person. Here are some icons with many of those same choices. A couple of other pieces of information that might be helpful to you. A little more information about absentee voting. And then if you want to do to work at the polls, the voting locations, you can do that. That's where one of our team members are. Wilma Ortiz is doing that today. Took off the day to help with democracy. You can get the latest election results or former election results. And you can see what all the deadlines are for elections. And if you're curious about what the count process is, here's some transparency for you to get to know what happens when we vote. And then, of course, if you're in the military, there's some information for you as well on how to vote. So let's go practice finding my voting poll. We're going to use SOC's address. So you click on Find My Polling Place, and we're going to put in SOC's address, 1300 South Layton Boulevard. Now, folks, we're not yet open to the public from the pandemic. We will hope to do that soon. But you can reach us in all the ways that you have in the past, except for in the office. So you can call us at 414-672-8090. You can email us at soc@socmilwaukee.org. On any of our social media platforms. And of course, most of the time we spend in the community with you, and that's a great opportunity to dig in. So here we go. I put in SOC's address, and if I lived here, this is where I'd go. I'd go to Durfler School. So some of the election sites are at a park, some of them are at a school, some of them are at a different type of building. But if I lived at SOC, I'd go to Durfler School, and as you can see, there's the address of the school, polling times, which was today from 7 to 8 p.m. I went right this morning at 7 o'clock, and I was the first one in my ward, which happens to be the same location here, 2:15. And then they even show us a map. The other thing we want you to practice is what's on my ballot. So now I know where to go. What's my ballot going to look like? Because that could be intimidating or surprising, or you might not expect it, and sometimes you want to reflect on those things. But here we go. We have the same address. And if I lived here, and that was my voting place, here we go. What's on the ballot for today? We talked about this. Peggy did a great job of introducing the Supreme Court work. So here you go. Here are your options for Justice of the Supreme Court. And again, we'll remind you, our choice today is going to at least be there a decade. So it's a very important decision. We have tons of judges, so I'm going to try to summarize. We have a Court of Appeals for District 1, and then we have tons of circuit court judges for Branch 4, 9, 10, 13, 18, 21, 23, 35, 47. So tons of judges are being elected or reelected today. And then we have 2 municipal judges being elected. Whoever's going to take our beloved Derek Mosley's place, and then Branch 3 as well. And we have a member at large of our MPS school district board member. So that's an important race too, when we think of how critical education is to our kids and to our future. Now, this is what Johnny was talking about, and some of our former, guests, like State Representative Ortiz Velez talked about. I'm going to take a little time, just in case some of you do better hearing information than reading or seeing it, just to make sure it kind of lands a little bit. So we have a couple of referendums. This first one is dealing with what conditions of release can the judge use, the courts use before someone is actually convicted of a crime. So very, very like testing of your, philosophies and moral compass here and constitutional rights. And so this one talks about an amendment to a constitution. Remember, like the Constitution is our core, spinal cord of our democracy. So we have to take questions about amending them very seriously. So this one is, do we want to adapt the Constitution, amend the Constitution to allow the court to impose someone who's been accused of a crime conditions from the court? And so read that carefully, think about it, answer it. The next one is related, which is to, again, amend the Constitution to allow the court to impose cash bail on a person accused of a violent crime. And that would be several things they're posing is packed in this question, which is allowing someone's background, the total circumstances to be allowed in court, prior convictions of violent crimes, their guess on whether this person's going to show up for court, and whether this, in their estimation, this poses a threat to the community and or to any witnesses. And so another important question. And then two other non-court related issues is, shall able-bodied people who don't have children have to look for work in order to receive taxpayer-funded welfare benefits? And then last, which I'm sure all of us have heard about it on the referendum, is the issue of abortion rights. And as State Representative shared with us, Statute 940.04 bans abortion at any stage of pregnancy without exception for rape, incest, health of the patient, to be repealed to allow legal access to abortion care. So read the questions, because it could be confusing if you're voting for or against, right? So again, it, to repeal this law that bans abortion without exception to all of those things I mentioned earlier. So really easy to use, tons of information at your fingertips. And we really want you to take advantage of that resource, because it's available to you 24 hours a day, and not many other sources are. Let me take a quick.
Hello. I want to say a few shout outs to our coalition partners. First, I want to shout out everybody here at SOC. We have been working and been live since 8 this morning. I want to shout out our production team, Stacy and Jinx, for helping. Thank you. Our amazing boss lady, Tammy, for holding us down all the time. Tony, for helping us with our translation and getting us our yummy food to keep us going today. I also want to thank Latino Chamber of Commerce, League of Women Voters, Milwaukee LGBT Community Center, Milwaukee Turners, Vote Riders, and Voces de la Frontera. Thank you all for being part of our civic coalition. We truly appreciate collaborating. Next, we will have Peggy Greer from League of Women Voters.
Buenos dias, Peggy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us again. You guys have been incredible partners. I really appreciate it.
And we appreciate the work you do as well.
Yeah, there's enough work for all of us to do, and it's necessary for us to do it in a united way. Eloisa says, thanks to all today's speakers. Hola, Eloisa. She was with us earlier. Happy that you were with us and happy that you're back with us. Peggy, we want to accomplish two things today. We want to get people motivated, those people who maybe have lost a little hope or are totally stressed for time, or don't understand voting, to really get out on this critical election. And then we want to thank you, Anita, for getting me water. I appreciate it. And then any other message you think people really need to hear today. So share your thoughts, share your heart with the folks.
Okay, thank you. I have lots of thoughts on this. For anybody who thinks this election isn't important, you should take a look at some national media headlines over the past week or so. I see one from National Public Radio. In a Supreme Court race like no other, Wisconsin's political future is up for grabs. I think that's pretty motivating. I see another one, a key fight over democracy is currently taking place in Wisconsin. There is so much at stake here. I mean, with our Supreme Court race is huge. This is a 10-year seat with no term limits. And the Supreme Court is going to be hearing some very important cases. They're likely to hear cases about abortion rights. You certainly hear a lot about that. Voting and election laws will come before the Supreme Court, very likely. We are a very gerrymandered state. Our maps are quite skewed, and those will likely come before the Supreme Court. Judicial recusal rules, things like marijuana legalization could come before this court. Education policy, labor laws, a lot of very important issues. And the ideological balance of the court is what's in play with this election, and that's why it's getting so much national attention. This is the most expensive state Supreme Court race in our nation's history. I haven't heard the latest total, but I know it's over $40 million has been spent. So for people out there who are wondering if their vote matters, think of all the money that is being spent with the goal of swaying your one vote. That's the whole point of the ads. But let me say, I wouldn't pay very much attention to the content of the ads. It's not illegal to lie in those. So you need to do a little bit of research. I know you have to be in a hurry if you have not made up your mind now, but the difference between candidates is stark. So talk to friends who follow politics. Look at organizations you trust. See what they're saying about this race. Go to vote411.org and do a little research. Doesn't take long. And with the weather we're expecting today, the sooner you head out, the better, probably.
Correct. That's all critical information. And, the Supreme Court race, people really need to take heart of, we're going to be locked in for a whole decade. That it's probably one of the highest stake races we've seen in a while. So thank you for sharing that information. Is there anything else you want to bring to people's attention today, Peggy, before we have you go on to the rest of your day?
And the rest of my day, by the way, is heading over near you. I'll be at a polling place on the south side starting at 1:30. There's one thing that I noticed when I talk to people about voting, something they find surprising. We had a primary election in February, and that determined which candidates went on to this election today. And the turnout for that primary election was 20.5% of the voting age population in Wisconsin. And that was considered kind of high. That's not very good. 4 out of 5 potential voters stayed home. Today, we could break a record and still have more than half of the people who could vote not vote. So I'm pleading with people to please engage your friends and relatives and neighbors and encourage them to get to the polls with you today. If you're in line at 8 o'clock when the polls close, you can still vote. So you've got time.
Thank you, Peggy. We appreciate your partnership and you being with us today. Have a great day.
Thank you, Tammy. You too.
Thank you for that. Next, we will have a quick video from Brandy Hernandez at the Latino Chamber of Commerce.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandy Hernandez and I am the engagement manager at the Latino Chamber of Commerce of Southeastern Wisconsin. Just wanted to hop on super quick and 1, happy election day. 2, wanted to encourage you all to get out and vote. Voting is one of many ways that you can make your voice heard here in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin. And all across the country. But yeah, on behalf of the Latino Chamber of Commerce, we just wanted to encourage you all to get out and vote, make your voice heard. If you have any questions on where your polling place is, you can always visit myvote.wi.gov, and that shows directly where you go and vote and what you need to take. Yeah, happy Election Day.
I see we have some viewers. So if you are just now tuning in, please remember we do have some door prizes, some opportunities for you to win gift cards. We have our 33andMe, which is our Black Ambassador. If you fill that out, that is one entry. We do have our post-pandemic survey so that we can hear what our neighbors may need after coming out of the 2-year pandemic that we have just been in. You have an opportunity by sharing this live. We have it live on Facebook and live on YouTube. If you would like to share a picture with us on Facebook, that is another opportunity to be put into the drawing. So we will have 4 live drawings tomorrow. The surveys will be put in the comments as well for you. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Next, we will have our the Milwaukee County Executive, David Crowley.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited, hoping we're going to have a great turnout for this election. And gracias, because I think this is your first visit.
This is. I appreciate it.
Glad. And we were just together because you invited a group of us women for Women's History Month to have a chat with you at Alverno. And so I'm grateful for that opportunity as well.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, but everyone who joined us during that coffee time to really have conversations about how we can move this community forward, particularly around entrepreneurship. It was really vibrant, and you definitely gave me some things to walk away with and do.
Yeah, we'll dig in on those things. All right, so we're hoping you could join us to just share your heart with folks, to maybe the people who have lost a little hope or who are feeling stressed and pressed for time, that you give them some encouragement and inspiration to vote today.
Oh, absolutely. First and foremost, I was born and raised here in Milwaukee. So I'm a lifelong Milwaukeean, and I'm proud of where I come from. And I'm proud that I've been on this path to actually make some change in this community, because we need to make sure this is a better place for everyone. And when you think about today, this is a very special day because it is Election Day. And so if you care about your community, if you care about how government serves you, if you care about your family and your loved ones, and if you care about the greater future of your community, today you have to make sure that your voice is heard. And so every day that we think about Election Day, we have to make sure that you let your voice count. And so it's extremely important that you make a plan, that you go out and vote today. We got elections that are statewide. We have elections that are happening here locally. Many elections that can make a great impact on all of our lives throughout the entire state. So it's extremely important that you take the time to cast your vote and make sure that your voice is heard. And I just have to say, Tammy, thank you not only to you, but to the Southside Organizing Center for all the work that y'all all consistently do in organizing our communities, but more importantly, making sure that folks understand how you can utilize their voices to make change in our own community.
Great. We thank you for that. Folks are needing encouragement, but also they want to be rewarded for participating in our democracy. Is there anything else you want to share with people from the county level before we let you get the rest of your day going?
Well, absolutely. Again, I want to make sure everybody gets out to vote, but I do want to, encourage people to visit our website, moveforwardmke.com. We at Milwaukee County and the city of Milwaukee, we have been embarking on an endeavor to increase the amount of resources so we can better serve the entire community, like the folks who are watching us right now on live. And so it's extremely important that people understand what we're trying to do, because if we want to make sure our county buses are here, that our county parks are still here, that our senior services, our youth services, and services for people with disabilities, we need to make sure that we have the revenues and the tools necessary. So I want to encourage everyone to visit moveforwardmke.com. And I also want folks to stay tuned for a lot of the summer events that's going to be taking place. Last year, we had our inaugural Healthy County Challenge, and I'm looking forward to bringing it to a park near you in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned.
All right. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, next we will have our Executive Director, Tammy Rivera, come on and speak about the District 14 County Supervisor map.
Hola, folks. There's a special election happening today in addition to the normal elections that were talked about earlier. And I want to make sure that the neighbors of District 14, County Supervisor District 14, have the information and resources that they need to vote. So what I want to say overall is today there are 3 candidates, Travis Hope, Caroline Gomez-Tom, and Angel Sanchez. And what you'll be voting on is you have to vote, and the top two of the 3 go forward to the special election, which is going to take place Tuesday, May 2nd. So mark your calendars, save that date, those people who live in District 12. There are all kinds of resources. I'm going to name them, not necessarily show them because it took a little too long the last time I did that. So we're going to edit that and cut that down. You can go to our Facebook. You can look for the candidates forum for County Supervisor District 14, and you will see them answer questions that neighbors who live in their district ask, so that you can compare and make your decision or confirm your decision. The other thing that took place is our Near Southside Coalition, those that Jeanette gave a shout out to earlier. They were able to submit a question for the candidates, and the candidates answered them. We compiled those, and I published those last night in English and in Spanish. So 4 or 5 organizations submitted questions. The candidates answered those. You can find them on our Facebook. And also, what I'm sharing with you now is being shared in the comments. So don't worry if you didn't catch it or I'm moving too fast. Again, the candidates forum you can find on our Facebook page. The answers, the written answers to the organizational questions. The link to the county supervisor page in case you want to know more about that position. We also on our Facebook page, we don't have a link for that, but you can snoop around on our Facebook page. You're going to find all kinds of great resources. Is the flyer that we use for that candidate forum has a snippet, a brief summary of the functions of the county supervisor. And what I think is really important to show you is the map of the district. Why? Because the census, the results of the census, one of the results of the census is recreating boundaries for, different districts. And that happened. And so it could be a little confusing because the south side, the near south side has been split sort of in 2 different districts, and it used to, for the most part, be 1. And so I want to show you that map so that you can know if you live in the district or not, so you can pay attention to the special election. So let me get there. And then I'm assuming you can see what I can see, but if my staff could confirm that, that would be great. Is the map showing y'all? It isn't showing. All right, let me try that again. Sometimes I'm not great at this stuff. How about now? All right, there we go. Bingo. All right, folks. As you can see, it's not like easy to always describe a district because it's not straightforward. It's not a square. It's not a rectangle. But more or less, if you want to look at the furthest boundaries on the north, what we have is Virginia Street, right? And you can see there's Bruce there and Pierce and National Avenue. And then on the west side, you have it, the district kind of curve out to 16th Street and then go to 20th on the west side. And then on the east side, pretty much, it curves out and hits First Place, comes back, and it's mostly First Street. On the southern border, it's Howard Avenue. So folks who live within this red border, inside of it, your District 14, and you are voting in today's special election. We're going to put a link in the comments for you to be able to look at that district map closer. But also remember that we shared in the myvote.wisconsin.gov presentation how you can enter your address there, and they'll show you where you need to vote and what you're voting for. That's another way for you to confirm if you're in District 14. So we want to make sure that you're very well equipped to participate, because out of those 3 candidates, 2 are going to go forward. And again, you're going to vote on May 2nd for who's going to represent you in District 14. And that election came about because the former person who was elected had to step down, Django Zerpa, left a vacancy, and the county exec who was on with us just previously called for a special election. All right, and then the last thing I want to share with you is, if you haven't decided about the Supreme Court race, we also are sharing a link in the comments that you can go and see the debate between the 2 candidates that was hosted by the State Bar of Wisconsin, WISC-TV, and WIS Politics, just in case you want to see where they're standing and who they are to help you make a decision. And I'm going to turn the program back to Jeanette and Alexis.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to go over the 4 opportunities to win a gift card. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. If you share this live, you will be entered. We also have our post-pandemic survey, which that is also in the comments. You can fill that out for an entry as well. And you can get as many entries as you if you share it, you're going to get an entry. Also, we have our 33andMe Block Ambassador survey. If you would like to be a Block Ambassador for your neighborhood, please complete that. These surveys take less than 5 minutes, and we really want to hear your voice. You matter, and we want to hear your voice. So thank you all for joining us today. Alexis will take us out.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Please join us at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. Remember, your vote matters.